Hey guys, I'm just gonna head home. I had fun. I don't regret it. Sometimes I head out on my bike just because the weather's nice. You know, like if I have some free time and the weather's nice, I think to myself, well, I have to ride my bike. You know, like because it's not every day you have free time and nice weather. And then you think if I just sit at home and play video games, you know, at the end of the day, I'm gonna regret having not done something more healthy slash active. So. Yeah, and that's kind of how I was feeling today, because when I was at home, I kind of want to play games, but then I looked out the window and I saw this, and then I'm like, and my wife's out, I got the day to myself, I don't have to take care of my son or anything, so I'm like, well, I guess I have to get out on my bike. And I was worried that, because I've had it happen many times in that situation, where I get out on the bike and I'm just kind of putting around, not with no destination, and I end up regretting it. But today, no, I had a good time. Went to the racetrack, made some good videos, did a few wheelies. At the racetrack when I was leaving, it's fun because the racing event was for small motorcycles. So I went there and there was like literally over 100 small bikes, all like the average size is like 125, 150. You had a couple of 250 Ninjas and that's it. And then I show up in a 650 Ninja, and then when I went to leave, you know, he had a small group of people standing around my bike looking at it, and then I talked to them, and I get one of the things I have fun showing people is my Scott oiler, because no one has them here. They've never even heard of them in Taiwan. So people are always like, "What? It oils your, it's you know it's a system that oils your, it's a computerized system that oils your chain," and people. Yeah, they're amazed by it because they didn't even know it existed. So it's one of my biggest show-off features on my motorcycle. It's kind of funny. You know, in England, 10% of all bikes have them, so you couldn't show it off to anyone. But but in America, you still probably could. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna head home. Dogs need a good walking. So yeah, that's one of the cool things. What other cool things? Hello, God. Let's go back. Let's just take a look at that. And let's be totally obvious about it too, because they both, you know, they just looked at me. They saw me. Let's just crash into them. That way I can get the number. England, they're representing. They got the tattoos. See, and look at that. They're going to a whorehouse. Mental note: come back to this whorehouse sometime. See, that's the thing, man. I was looking at the, honest to God, like, I was looking at the tattoo on her leg, and I'm like, I bet you know, like, they're wearing, like, super sexy clothes, they got tattoos. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, they worked that kind of a job. And sure enough, they pull in and stop at a whorehouse. That street right there is, it's one of the main red light districts in this city, so. And I'm not 100% certain. I'm like 80% certain. You know, there's a 20% chance that just might be some kind of a. It could be one of those. There's these. I don't know how to describe them. They're like. They're kind of like a bar. It's like a private bar. You go to a place. They got like 10 different rooms. In each room, it has its own bar and bartender. And you go there with a few buddies, and you get your own room. And they provide the girls that are company, and they're not full-on prostitutes, but you can't really work that kind of a job without not being some kind. Look at that! Like the windows are totally tinted. The place is like it's got to be a whorehouse. But yeah, it could be one of those places. I don't know what they're called. Somebody else can tell me. They got them in Hong Kong and other places as well. It's just yeah, you go to a private little room and you get like a female bartender who's hot and sometimes topless, and then they get like two girls that depending on how many people there are. If there's three guys, and they'll send three girls to your room, and they just sit with you and drink and they talk, and that's it. You can maybe touch them a little or whatever, but you can't really have sex in a bar with your friends. It's just a small room, no privacy. I suppose if you wanted to have sex with them, you probably have to make them an offer, you know. But in general, it's not guaranteed, and they could just say no. And I don't know why people would and they're expensive too. These places. I went to one once, like, I don't know, a long, long time ago, 14, 15, when I first came to Taiwan. And it wasn't in Taiwan, it was in Hong Kong, and it wasn't my idea. I was with this other guy, and we were already drunk, and he's like, let's go in here. And I'm like, okay. So we went in, and it was like, the bartender was topless, and she was like ugly. And then the girl that came to keep me company, like the two girls came in, they sat with us, and the girl that was with me was like, again, like 10 years older than me, and I'm like, whatever. And at one point, she was like, she said to me, like, you got to buy drinks for yourself, and then you buy drinks for them, and their drinks cost twice as much as the ones you buy for yourself or something, and they're just water, you know. And but we were drunk, and it ended up being like a few $100s we spent, and we were only there for like an hour, hour and a half or something. It's just something ridiculous. And I remember one of the girl that was sitting with me. At one point, she says to me, she like leans over and whispers to me. She goes, "If you give me like $20 American, I'll let you touch my boob." And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, lady, you're 10 years older than me. You should be paying me to touch your boob. You know, like, I'm a young, good-looking guy, and you're, you know, like you're a 30-year-old whore. You know, and you're telling me to. It's, At the time, I was still good-looking, but that was when I still had my hair. There was like a family. When I was stopped at that light talking to you guys, there was a family on a scooter right next to me. There was like a husband, wife, and kid. And they were just talking away about me. They're just like looking at my bike and looking at me and trying to figure out why I'm talking to myself. And the husband's explaining to the wife, he has some kind of device in his helmet, and he's talking to that. Most people probably assume it's a cell phone. They probably think I stuffed a cell phone into my helmet. I'm just like talking to my, you know, friend on my cell phone or something. And that's what I like people to assume. I don't, you know, it makes more sense. It makes more sense than what I'm actually doing. So, yeah. When I left the house, it was early, but it's not that early now. That's something to go up my nose. I hope it's something friendly. What's friendly that could go up my nose? Maybe a My Little Pony? Like a really small one?